Welcome to this episode of Inside PTI. Hey, today we're live at the PTI farm and we're going to answer more of your questions. Here's a question that came in asking about future plans and trials at the PTI farm. I don't exactly know what we're doing tomorrow and what the future lies, but I can guarantee you this. Come out to the PTI farm and you can see firsthand what we're working on. We'd love to have you here at the farm. All right, another question that came in is, you show the things that did work at the PTI farm. What about showing some of the things that doesn't quite work out so well? Or maybe some of the real train wrecks? Well, it's funny you ask that. We do talk about the top 10 things that worked very well at the PTI farm, but I also separate the data out to show the top 10 things that were the biggest failures from the past year as well. And here is my list of top 10. We've got posters made like this all over the PTI farm where we talk about what were the biggest losses on a per acre basis that we incurred last year at the PTI farm. And you can see number one was late planted soybeans. We are a big advocate of planting beans early. Why? Well, when we plant late, it can be some severe losses. But it also involves late planted corn, saturated cold germination testing on corn, strip cropping and beans. That was definitely an agronomic practice that cost us some money this past year. Shallow planted corn, so now we're coming back to planter performance. Too light a downforce, too heavy a downforce. All of these added up, and we talk about these on a daily basis at the PTI farm when we're having field days here during the summer. If someone hasn't done anything to their planter yet, what would be more important to put on the planter? Conceal and furrow jet, or V-set and delta force? Well, when we talk to growers, we think downforce and that monitor system, that controlling system, is going to be the first thing that we want to check off the list. We got to keep the planter in the ground to make sure we maintain depth. We need to have singulation of our seed for optimum yield performance. Then we take a look at fertility. We could put all the fertilizer out in the world, but if you plant your crop too shallow or it's not singulated properly, that fertilizer is not going to give you the real benefit. So get your control system, your monitor system, okay, your meter system in place, get your downforce system, and then we'll start attacking it from there to find out what is that next yield limiting factor. Another question that came in involves irrigation, and that's one of the things that we're trying to utilize as much as we can here at the PTI farm. We do have access to water and we're doing drip irrigation. The question is this: how much should someone irrigate field corn? How do I know if I irrigate too much or too little? And that's a great question, because you know, when I first started irrigating our crops here at the PTI farm, I've got a lot of farmer in me. And when I see the crop struggling, say drought stress, one of the things I want to do is hit the button to turn the pump on and give it water fast and furiously, as fast as I can. The next question is, when do I turn the pump off? Because if I over apply water, two things are going to happen. One, my cost goes up because I have a pumping cost on a per acre basis, but I could be pushing oxygen out of the soil and it could be a detriment to this crop. So one of the things that we're using here, trying to understand, trying to figure out how to use these sensors, is moisture probes. So we've got moisture probes that are buried 3 feet into the soil profile, and we're using that to figure out where the roots are at, how much water they're taking in, and how much I need to replace. We also look at the weather, evapotranspiration rates, things like that, to know how much more water do I need to put out, and then more importantly, when do I shut it off? So sensors, measuring, knowing where we're at, and then turning pumps on and off, hopefully automatic in the future. Now, if you're a grower that doesn't have technology like moisture probes or sensors in the soil profile, how do you handle turning irrigation on and off? And I think that's where we're going to have to be a little more proactive, and we're going to have to dig a little bit. And we're going to have to take some soil samples, or we're going to have to do a little bit of digging to see where that moisture line is and see how that crop is reacting. But it's going to take a little more work understanding where that water table is at. But we're going to have to get into that soil and really watch and learn. Well, that's all the time we have for today's episode of Inside PTI. Thank you for your questions. I've enjoyed trying to answer a few of them. If you've got questions along the way as we produce these Inside PTI sessions, send us an email at InsidePTI@precisionplanting.com, and we'd love to answer any questions that you may have. In the meantime though, if you do have questions, you don't want to email us, reach out to your local Precision Planting Premier dealer. They'd love to talk with you about it. In the meantime, we'll see you on the next episode of Inside PTI. Thanks for watching.